Hey guys, I'm on YouTube. Well, I hope I'm on YouTube. I think I'm on Facebook as well. This is all new for me. Usually I go live on Facebook in my group, but I'm doing the YouTube thing and I can stream into Facebook. So I go live and I share tips, things I've learned being a raw vegan. I do a food demo, and this is the time where I just check that I am live. Does it say I'm live? Well, it's kind of not saying I'm live. So hang on. Let me just see if I can work this out. Yes, it says I'm live. So hopefully I'm live. It says one person can see me and I've got some comments. Okay, yay! You can see me. Hey, Jen. Hey, Melissa. Mish, Melissa. Hey, Trina. Yay! I didn't know whether I was going to be able to do it. Well, I knew I could, but yay. Okay, so yeah, so I'm excited to be here. I'll be doing this every week. As I said, I used to do it on Facebook in my group, but I share them on my YouTube channel. There's lots there. I have tofu here this week. I actually am really excited about this because my brother-in-law, who will not touch my food, and my mum were just here. They've gone out. And I kept saying to them, it smells like a sausage, like this tofu recipe from last week. So I'm like, it smells like a sausage. And anyway, they both smelt it and they're like, oh my God, that smells so good. Now my brother-in-law, it smells like really good. It is zucchini, hemp powder, and it is also onion powder. And we're going to marinate it. It's a bit crunchy underneath. My fault. I feel like I left it in a bit too long. It could be cut off, but I actually want the crunch. So we will do that. So, hey, so Mish is in New York. Oh, thank you. Jen said it looked good. So yeah, I'm excited to share. Now, do know the recipes that I do on a Friday are based on what I have left over because I do my farmers market shopping on Saturdays. Today is Friday in Australia, so it's like clean out the fridge day. So all the recipes that I've done, like cheese, I've made a cheese. What else have I done? Marinated mushrooms. I've done a lentil bolognese. You guys will have to remind me what else I've made, but usually, a loaf, like a nut and veggie loaf. It is always based off what's in my fridge. And the other reason I like to do this is because that's reality. Like we all get home from work. Well, I work from home, but we get to the fridge at the end of the day and we use what's in there. And recipes to follow are great, but most times we don't have all the ingredients. So I like to encourage people to experiment. Replace things. So if you've got a recipe or something you like usually you do cucumber noodles, you can do zucchini noodles, kelp noodles, sweet potato noodles, carrot noodles instead if you've got that. I'm all about making the lifestyle work. I'm more about having a lifestyle as opposed to a health journey because I feel like if you focus on just fixing yourself, you'll feel like I feel like that's coming from a place of lack. If you come at this journey with loving it and I'm excited to make this, I feel like you sit in gratitude. And when you sit in gratitude, you are going to not think so much about disease and health ailments. It's why I talk more on what I experience as a health coach in my journey, what I see going on in the community, because if you study raw foods and plant-based foods and healing, is you can get yourself in a real knot because there's, people can pick up any vegetable or fruit and see the good and the bad and is it this diet or that diet. I will tell you hands down, raw foods or having a high level of raw foods in your diet is hydrating. And that hydration, it makes the electricity in the body work. So you're already going to feel good. You don't have to start the diet and necessarily wait. And then people are like, oh, but you go through detox. Well, I think you've got to transition. Unless you're acutely sick and you've got to go full throttle, I believe step by step by step by step. Don't jump because more than likely we'll roll all the way back down. It's better do a few steps, maybe come back, a few steps, come back. So, oh yes, so Trina said CMOS. Sorry, there is CMOS in this as well. I will talk more about this later, but I have an idea for a tofu that can just sit in the fridge. I will talk more about how that will be done, because this got a little complicated in the end, and I don't do complication. That's another thing with my recipes. I'm like, how do I make this as simple as possible? Because the reality is, unless it's Christmas, Easter, a birthday, most people aren't going to keep going with the process. They want in, out, done. So back to the journey. I think the more you don't focus on, I've got to fix this. If I haven't fixed this, is this working? Is this working? Find ways to fall in love with wherever you're at. And that can be different spaces. Like some people aren't fully raw, or they're doing more plant-based. But I will say getting more watery things in will make you feel better. If you feel better, you stay present. Hydrated, you stay present. The raw foods make you feel more spiritually aware and connected to the universe. You become more present. You're not constantly monkey minding over, I've got to fix this. I can't eat this. What can you eat? Come in it with what you can do. I spoke about this last week because I made a post in the group a couple of weeks back saying, like, what are you struggling with? And I had so many messages. And then I wrote another one saying, what has everybody learnt or love about the raw foods? And I had, I reckon, a quarter or a third of the amount of messages on that post. And it truly is, I don't know who I was interviewing, but it's maybe Jen. I think it's all mind. Like, it's, if you can wrap your mind into loving something, or always looking for the good, you come at life like that, you come at your health like that. And I think you won't wake up one day and come at your health journey with a reason why you can't do it anymore. Of course, hurdles come, but if you can predominantly keep your mindset facing the world every day with what you can do and what you do enjoy, even if that starts with zucchini, nutritional yeast, and cashew nuts, and you like it, the more hydrating and even living foods that you put in your body, you will connect more to yourself and you'll want to try more things. Plus, it takes a bit of time for your taste buds to heal. Hey, Koala Mama! I love all your messages that you always write on my posts. I'm so glad you're here. So we're getting ready for pisage, mostly vegan style. I'm not sure what that means. I like more raw, but my husband can't because he's not got teeth. The other thing, this is the thing, is I think I've also approached raw as in, because I don't have a stomach or duodenum or top of intestines, and you could come at that with like, you can't do it. But even the first thing that comes to my mind, because I've trained myself so well as to always why I can do it, is if something needs to be broken down and assimilated in a way which is as good as cooked food, that is totally possible. Like soups. My mum's got a Vitamix here, so she's going to get into the soups as well. You just blend up all the things you would make on the stove in a Vitamix and just wait till it heats up to food temperature. So food is actually served in restaurants at just over 40 degrees Celsius. It's not served at 220 degrees Celsius like it's cooked. And I learned this off Cara and Marcus, is that when you actually have the raw food at that hot, that warm temperature, technically it's no different to cooked food. The only thing is, before that, the cooked food has been extremely heated. But back to difficulties with like digestion and teeth is, you can do soups, you can do stews, you can freeze the food and just pull it out and then warm it in the dehydrator or do a warm sauce on it. You can add probiotics into the soups and it will already start to break them down. I've made it so my mind cannot get out of this. There's no loophole for me because I knew when I came to this lifestyle, from the way I had approached other diets that hadn't given me the results that I noticed with raw, is I always found ways in my old life that I missed, that I couldn't, I wanted a drink because you start eating a bit better and I'd still go out to events, have a drink, or I'd want something that was like stimulating. Like I'd have like 2 or 3 coffees, or I just found reasons not to stay on it. And I think now I've come at this with all the reasons I can stay on it. I have recently, and I've mentioned this in the group, I've recently put back in my hormone replacement. And although I know a lot of people say it's not good for you, where technically if you've had a full hysterectomy, all the studies say estrogen becomes protective on the body. There's lower rates of heart disease, better bone health, mental health. It's very different if you've still got your uterus. But that really didn't talk me in or out of it. I know how I feel in my body, and I was struggling just to find my balance, as if my body was trying to cope in other ways, not having, I guess, some estrogen in it. And I also feel like I had to revisit it to remember part of who I was. I lost a large part of my memory before I found my health journey. And sometimes I like to look at, and I was also saying I've had some coffee the other week, and that's the first cooked thing I've ever had in 4 years. This is when I broke my foot and I was in a lot of pain, and I didn't know I'd broken my foot, and I didn't know I was trying to deal with pain. But I like to think of trying these things as not as bad things, but it's almost like I feel like I'm reaching out to connect with my old self. And that is nice when you're not facing your old self with trauma. And I think if that's another mindset thing, is instead of being like, oh, I had coffee, I'm like, when I did that with the hormone replacement, still eating raw, I connected to a level of myself, and I was like connecting to like, hey, Sky, you're okay at this. Like, it's like remembering the things that were okay when I was having coffee and estrogen, if that makes sense to people. It was like, this is part of my journey, is I don't want to always look at my life like, I was sick from the age of 8 up to 40. And I don't want to, I loved who I was, there was not great things about it, but I did love who I was, who survived, who got me there. And by being called back to a couple of things has made me remember and realize parts of myself that gave me strength to be who I am now. I hope I'm making sense. I think you can come at everything you try and do, and instead of seeing them as like, oh, I let myself down, I've got to not do that. I really experience who I am when I try something. And that's kind of like a huge message that I want to share, because I think it's been really important to my healing journey to reconnect at some level and just not see the whole journey as a horror freak show. So Koala Mama said, yeah, raw soups and stews. Yeah, you just freeze and thaw. Yes, I love when you talk about how you reconnect with yourself, as I've also had lots of trauma and memory loss. Yeah, and I believe anyone who gets to a point like this in healing has massive trauma. If you get to a point where you're only eating raw food, a diet which is completely different to societies, there's usually massive trauma. And I literally have not been able to connect with who I was until I had, well, at a level, the hormone replacement. It's like connecting to set up neurons in the brain which have been left. And I felt I was getting, I don't know whether it was too far away, but I wanted some to kind of assimilate who I'd become and assimilate some of who I used to be. But it's a bit of a juggling act. So yeah, but everyone's on their own journey. So histamines, where am I at with histamines? So I had a really big flare up I was speaking about last week. I was a bit knocked around last week after having massive flare ups. I had psychiatric problems that seemed to like reappear. I had rashes. It was like it's like the worst thing of it is like my nerve. I know people, sorry, I'm going off here. So histamines are coming in my body from mast cell activation syndrome. So the mast cells do a great job in the body when you've got some sort of trauma or inflammation, but in many people, we get a damage in like the gut called leaky gut, or maybe in the respiratory system. Some people have asthma. You can get it, and I've had it in all systems except respiratory, actually. I got it in like urinary, the skin, integratory system, anything which is supposed to be like the first line connecting to the outside of the body, those protective mechanisms. If they get any kind of damage, allergens go through, attach themselves to mast cell, and continually, like these mast cells continually set them off. They release things like histamines and other and other proteins into the body, and you get this like allergy response. And the most common one is scratchy eyes, scratchy nose, scratchy throat, anaphylaxis. That's like kind of common. People get the respiratory one during spring when there's pollen in the air, And if they've got like a sensitive and damaged respiratory system somewhere, they will sneeze and they will cough. But this has been taken to a whole new level in, well, let's say the last 20, I'd say more years, where there's probably more allergens in the air. People are becoming more damaged, more sensitive, more genetic weaknesses, which are displaying quite strong, and they're getting allergies which come across as joint pain, nerve pain, psychiatric problems, massive digestive issues, vision issues, you name an issue, histamines can be involved because histamines are everywhere. They're kind of that signaling system which is supposed to send blood and support to areas which are damaged and inflamed. So you get, think of the person with the allergy as the pathogen comes in, and it's the body's supposed to just be alerted that something foreign is in the body. It's not supposed to keep releasing histamines and not stop. But in a sense, it's doing it as a mechanism, as if the body's overloaded and you've got to leave the pollen area because the body can't take anymore. It does have a lot to do with the liver being overloaded, but in fact, your whole body is going to be inflamed if you keep getting these signaling systems. So this has been like getting worse in many people. And I will say, if you've had chronic illness, histamines are playing a part. It's their job. They go to spots of inflammation. Like my break was quite sorer than most people's because histamines are involved. They're there to alert the body where there's inflammation, but a lot of people, and mast cell activation and histamine overload is in many people. So I went on fruit to try and heal my broken toe. In the past, I've been able to do like high fruit for a period of time. Well, I was on for 2 years. I was pretty much on fruit, just fruit, but more savory fruits as well. I used to be able to do sweet fruit for a few days, but I was doing savory fruits, sweet fruits, and every day I just didn't feel right because blood sugar spikes can also cause mast cell. It can be different. Whatever triggers each person is like a different thing. I could tell I was being triggered by the sugar, but also I get triggered because I've got no stomach, duodenum, or top of intestine. I get triggered when there's a food overload. And the one thing that happens every time I eat just fruits is I can't stop eating. And when you can't stop eating with no stomach, you get bloating, you get distension. I'm assuming it's because you get a blood sugar spike that's quite high from fruit, higher than if I was having like cucumbers or greens or, I don't know, nuts or seeds. And it when you get that blood sugar spike, you keep eating, you keep craving sugar. And so anyway, that I think is a massive problem for me. Also, some of the fruits I was eating because I get so hungry are avocados and bananas. Bananas are really not good for me. And then I start having berries and there's like a pile up, and then I'm like, I need like a bit of balance and a bit of like feeling satiated and not being so distracted. But anyway, it ended up that I got really inflamed. And I was so inflamed that I could barely even eat things that weren't high in histamines or that were raw food. I get acid reflux and I get GERD and my foot's hurting and my brain's going crazy. And the one thing which helped me settle it, and now I'm having more stable level, is the flaxseed. Flaxseed oil, not the seeds. I wouldn't have been able to. What I noticed about having the flaxseed oil is how quickly my skin started to feel really soft. And it reminded me that I don't think I've been absorbing much fat from seeds or even from avocado anymore. My gut got, I think, quite inflamed. But I mean, if you're in Australia, you can use this brand, but as long as it's a good quality brand from like a health food shop, which has been kept in the fridge, I think it's amazing. And I'll tell you what I did with the histamines. One sec. So the brand I use is Melrose. It's Australian. It's just that. Now, I started off I had included it more based on being kind of called to look at Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocols, though to me, I could never, a couple of reasons, have that much because of my gut, but also because I find when I continually eat like greens and I'm not having like any things like cucumbers, which I find quite hydrating, or even pieces of fruit, is I feel chronic fatigue. If you give me quite a lot of dense food, I just get chronic fatigue. So that is one reason that I was not called. Oh, sorry, there are two reasons. I can't eat that much for my stomach, but also the fatigue that I get when I eat massive amounts of food. But the idea, I had incorporated a lot of, when I make my dishes, you'll see I add flaxseed oil to everything. And I think that was like doing like a base. It was keeping me very stable because for months, I did the keto, and after that I could have tomatoes, avocados, no reaction. Everything calmed down, but I was having a lot of flax oil. Hadn't had any flax oil for 5 days by the time I had this flare up. So what I was doing with every little bit of food I got down, I was having little teaspoons of this flax oil and everything would settle. There's a difference to me is at the start I was using things like apple juice, which apple juice is still going to be sweet, green apple juice, but I noticed the fruits that I can get down have quercetin in it, and that really helps with lowering histamines in the body. You can't really call it an antihistamine. Well, it's more of an antihistamine than an antihistamine is. An antihistamine, when you take it, actually doesn't get rid of histamines. It just blocks the receptor site. Anyway, I was being called to those type of fruits, and they're like grapes have it. I think berries have it. I know apples have it. Anyway, it would stabilize where when you get mast cell, it keeps spiking. Like it's like waves and flares, and you think it's going down and it'll get worse, and then it'll get worse, and you're not doing anything. It's like this histamine overload. But when I started having little bits of the flax oil, not a big gulp, but little bits all over the day, it started to go away. There's a difference between stabilizing, which is stopping these flares, and not having it really, unless you have a lot of histamine food and then it starts to come back. And so I started doing little teaspoons with anything that I ate, which was very simple, like little pieces of apple or a tiny bit of salad, some cucumber. After about 3 days, now I just have some in the morning and afternoon. I don't know, probably like 2 tablespoons. I don't have to have it over the day, but I could probably skip a day now and not flare. But I'm not even joking. I just think my life would not be the same without flaxseed oil at the moment. So and look, I'm not saying that this is going to fix your mast cell activation or histamine issues, because it's very complex. As you've heard, it's very different for each person. People have different systems which it inflames, but when you can't even get food down, for me, this really helped. And the other trick is, because you want more omega-3s in the body than 6, when I did this, I had very low amounts of, I haven't really had any avocados because they're high in histamines, but I didn't have many nuts or seeds or anything. Like, it's been predominantly driving the body with omega-3s, and it seems to be very anti-inflammatory, very helpful for me. Okay, and with that, we can get on to the food, unless anyone else wants to talk about anything else, but they're the kind of things I wanted to talk about this week. And as you'll see each week, I'm more focused on what I've learned, because you can quote studies and you can get on the bandwagon for some study and another study. And then even if a study proves something is true, I guarantee 50 years from now, they'll have discovered something else. So I'm better off sharing what I've learned and see if you're called to it or you want to try it. I'm going to try out the flaxseed oil. My histamine is okay right now, but it could be better, and I want soft skin. It makes your skin so soft. It's really helped me. It's really helped me. But okay, we're getting into the tofu now, which we made last week. Now I've got a better camera on. This is move the computer out of the way. I've got my, I've got my phone going. So we've got a better camera. Last week, I don't know what was going on. I think I had too many histamines in the brain. Had the camera all over the shop. Okay, so let me see if we can get the camera onto. This should tilt down. There. Tell me. Oh, I think the computer is blocking the light a little bit. So hopefully for now that's doing a bit better. So that is the tofu. As you can see, as I said, the bottom is a little bit crispy. What I do want to do in the future is try making, so how we made this is we had sea moss gel, we had zucchinis, and we had hemp protein, and you can flavor it how you want. I used onion powder. In the future, I want to try using dried sea moss, blending the zucchini up so it literally becomes like a zucchini smoothie, adding the hemp protein in. Actually, no, what I'd probably do is do the zucchini first so it's a smoothie, add the dried sea moss in, about a cup of it probably, a third of a cup to a cup, blend it up, and it will start immediately absorbing the liquid from it. So it's going to set a hell of a lot more than using just the gel. Of course, once that's in, I would add the protein powder to give it the protein that we want from the tofu. That's the idea. And then you flavor it how you want. Onion powder. A lot of people have it plain, and today we're going to marinate it, and you can chop it up. But I have this idea where I see people making, let me show you, tofu, and they kind of make a marinade and pour it over. A lot of Asian sort of style bloggers will make this. They will score it, which I don't think is necessarily important. But they will then put like sweet chili sauce, or they'll put like a garlic soy marinade over, and then they just eat it. I have with this, I put this in so I blended up last week, as I said, zucchinis, hemp protein, sea moss gel, and onion powder. I put it in a mold, put it in the fridge overnight. Well, you got to set it for like 6 hours. After the 6 hours, 6 hours overnight, I then wasn't happy with how it set, so I froze it to set it completely so it could go in the dehydrator. And the dehydrator needed a long period of time. Like mine was in the dehydrator probably like 20 hours. And I don't want to go to all that effort every time I want to make tofu. So I'm thinking next time I make it, I'm going to just try with the dried sea moss and see if I can get it to set in the fridge overnight. That's my goal. I'm very simple. As you see with my recipes, I'm like, what have I got and how quick can I make this so it tastes fresh with lots of flavor? And I always leave room for you guys to flavor it however you want. But I've got a few things that I found in Mum's fridge and her cupboard. I would usually use fresh chilies. So we're working here with some, like, let me see where you've got it. What else did I find? I found now tomatoes are high histamine, but I have not had high histamine food in a few days, and I'll only usually have a small bit. So I found some, like, oh, that's a bit gross. That looks gross. Okay, we found some tomatoes. I wanted to use some dates to sweeten it. You can use monk fruit if you want to do it low sugar, like when I did histamines. And I found some ginger. Now, Mum's got all these other flavorings. You can flavor this however you like. But I thought I'd make like a marinade with this, just in the Vitamix, nice and easy for this. You could technically probably try. I haven't even tried the tofu yet, but it smells really, really good. It smells like a sausage roll, what I know as a sausage roll in Australia. Okay. So we'll just rinse off these a little bit. Okay. I chopped these up. Oh, gosh. No, the other day. Oh, when was that? That was Monday I chopped those up when I did the raw. What did we do? The herb party. Go on my channel and watch the herb party. It was so good. Those parties, I think having like, who do we have here? There we had Lissa and her husband Nate. We had Chef Yin. We had Daniel McKinnon. We had Dulce. We had Jen. We had me. When you get all of these people together, you get so much information. Marabella wasn't there. There's a few people not there. We had Sean and Kat, all raw vegan content creators, recipe makers, some of them have been doing it for like, well, Daniel's, I think, 20 years. Lissa's like 10 years. Like, there's long-term people. There's so much information. Go watch it. Okay, so we're at the level where tomatoes, I'd say at this stage it's like 1.5 cups of tomatoes. I may put some more. There's a couple more here, so I might make it 2 cups. Just want to, these are a little bit, I don't know how fresh these ones are. There's a couple more here. So it's kind of like 2 cups. Then I'm going to do, because I want sweet chili, I'm going to start with like 2 dates. I'm going to check the camera this week. Last week, I can't believe the camera wasn't on me and it wasn't on the food. Jeez, I don't know. But this week I can see better. Also, I should announce this. So I will be going live this week, I think 5 times. I've got what's coming up this week? I'm going to be streaming on YouTube a lot. There's going to be lots of interviews. We've got the full moon party on Sunday EST time, Monday for Australian time. Then we've got a women's health podcast, which is going live on Tuesday Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday for me. So I'm going to be going live lots. So click on my channel and click on lives, and I'm going to set them up the week before. So I think I've got 5 coming up, and then I may jump on and make food anyway. But there's going to be lots coming up. Okay, so that's a good announcement. I'll be going live lots now. Okay, because I love it. Now I'm going to do a bit of ginger. You could do fresh chili as well. Put a little, I do like half a thumb at this stage. Okay. I actually think I've been off salt this week, but I actually think my salt reaction is a histamine reaction. I think the reason I have such a bad reaction to any, whoop, I've got a free seed in there. That's what I didn't want to do that. Ah! Slippery little sucker. Okay, just a little bit of lemon juice. Got that. Okay, some chili powder. Do chili powder to taste. It's supposed to be like chili, but I mean, it's probably like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. I don't know how spicy this is. We're about to find out. A little bit of garlic powder just because I saw it. And you can use salt and pepper, of course. Where's a spoon? It's not a good spoon. This one. All righty. So Jen said the her party was so fun. Thanks for having me on. Oh, loved having you there. Plus, Jen and I did a couple podcasts last week. Go check those out after this. Don't want to do too much. There's onion powder in there. That's probably like half a teaspoon, third of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to blend this. I will leave my mic over here so you don't hear the blender. Okay. I may put some water in this. Whoop. Okay, we're back. Because it's usually a little bit thin, but you could do it thick. Let me try this. It's sweet and spicy. Okay. So yeah, it's a little thick. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in this. Well, or a lot. Let me see, because I kind of want it like this drizzle over the top. Alrighty. I think that's right. Now, oh no, that's still quite thick. I mean, it's not going to matter. I guess I could just, well, I'll get it a little thinner. I think it's because of the dates. They add like a gelatin effect. Don't want to blend this too much. Sorry, guys. I know you're over here with my blender. That's a bit better. This is where we're at anyway. Might just be thick. I think that might be better. Anyway, you can use this as a marinade. Like you can chop this up, but I feel like there's a certain level where you've processed things too much in raw foods. And to me, if I put it on this and put it back in the dehydrator, it's just too much. Now, I don't know whether the consistency of this is like the best. Oh yeah, no, that's better. That's better. So the idea, that's good, is just to like pour it over like this. Oh, damn, haven't got usually I use my camera to take a photo, but I'm using my phone. Can you take a photo with this? No. Okay. So then, I mean, I'd like to put some greenery on this. The greenery is looking a bit dead. Usually I'd put like something decorative on top. Remember, it's the end of the week. That is like such a poor effort for my green. But we're going to try it. A little bit of cracked pepper. How good does that look? How good, are we seeing this here? Is this coming out good? Now, see, you can see that's all crispy. I don't want that, but it will taste good. So let's try it. Let's see if this actually worked. See if we can move the camera back a bit. I think the camera's fine here for now. So can you see? So just, oh my God, it is like tofu. So it is, I probably should use a knife. It's fully like, ended up like, just like I wanted actually. So if you can see, besides that bottom part, I don't know how well you can see this. Oh! Can you still see? Apparently not. Resume. Okay. Can you see there? I don't know whether you can see. Let me see if I can get this back on. Okay. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It looks really good. It's how I wanted it. So at least we know the textures are right. It's just a matter of setting it quicker. Okay. I like the tofu part, but I do not like that bottom part that's gone firm at all. It's gone bitter. Okay, let me try again. I thought I'd like that crunchy bit. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to have to redo this, but if you followed my instructions all the way to the end, you can't eat the bottom part. Oh, that's nice. It's gone really bitter. But the tofu part, actually, it's just like tofu. It kind of just tastes like the sauce, which is the idea. Well, that's good. Okay. So yeah, my idea was to make something that, zucchini crispy part's no good. To make something which took on a sauce flavor like tofu does, that was really plain, and that's pretty much what it is. But the bottom can't be eaten, which is okay. It's good. That's good. Okay. Well, that's the live for this week, guys. Thank you. Oh, I might chop this up tonight and put it over my salad with the sauce. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys during the week. As I said, there's lots of lives. Check it out. And thanks for joining me. Bye.